Hi, I'm Sophie, and I haven't seen a lot of movies.
Hi, I'm Paul, and I'm here to help with that. And we are
SP Film Viewers. Corporate accounts payable, Sophie speaking. Just a moment.
very good.
Thanks. Well, to say I am accounts payable is quite apt.
Yeah, I thought that's why I thought I'd let you lead with it this time.
I don't know why she just says just a moment. I'm like literally the same line. Like you're literally just answering all your lines. Like can't you just deal with somebody? And then like because that must get it would irritate me if I was in an office space like that.
You said the line of the film.
Just slip that in there.
Yeah, I know what I mean, but that's kind of one of the jokes in it with the whole mundane situation that our character's in for this film, which is, of course, office space, as we're talking about today. So we'll put a little poll up on Twitter and Instagram stories because I couldn't really decide on what particular film I wanted to do this week, so I thought I'll just do like a choice between two films, see what gets most votes. I'm kind of surprised that a lot of people picked this one over Super Mario Bros, but
I was gutted. I don't even know what Super Mario Bros is, but I love the Mario games. And I was like, I'm gonna get to see Peach, Bowser, and I was like made up. And then I was like, I don't really know what Office Space is unless it's like a rip-off version of The Office.
Well, it was before The Office was even a concept.
Well, it's not in my head, so
yeah. I think one day we will, or in the near future at least, we will maybe cover Super Mario Bros. I think it is definitely worth an episode. But yeah, it was just to see like if people are really interested in it. But there are some people who commented and said that they were. So thank you for everybody who voted anyway. And sorry that it didn't win this time around, but it will get around to it at some point. So this one is, well, it's kind of a cult classic anyway. A lot of people do seem to like this film anyway, and it's quite humorous. It's like a little black comedy, really.
I can understand why people might like it because it is so relatable.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So it's like kind of, I think that's why the Office works really well. Is people are normally, if you coronavirus and not pandemic, where you work from home, the normal setup is that you would work in an office environment.
Mm-hmm.
Even like, for example, your field, like if you guys were all in the same area, you probably would have an office space where you can bounce ideas and be creative.
Yeah, that would be the dream goal, really. Yeah.
So it's, even though, to be honest, I much rather working from home. Like, with everything going on in the world, I think it's made it easier working from home, and it gives you more of a leg to stand on. You can sit in your pajama bottoms if you don't want to get dressed. It's that amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Going into the office sometimes can be such a slog, and it really does. The people, it's a big thing. They make or break an office environment.
Yeah.
If you've got somebody that's going to be irritating you and you've got to sit next to them on a daily basis and be polite and civil, it's like, I don't know, I feel like that social part of me is gone now. I don't know how to do that anymore. You know, that kind of fake niceties and smile.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
That's like, morning, how are you?
Yeah.
Even though you've had like a crap day already, but you don't want to bring your crap to work.
No. Well, you need like about 3 cups of tea before you can even start your day, so...
I do. This is the thing, and normally I love to go into work early, because I don't want everyone to get set up, and I'm ready before everybody else normally can come at me.
Mm-hmm.
If somebody's come at me before 3 cups of tea, and there's something wrong, I'm like, don't even talk to me. I'm not... Even though I'm a morning person, I will be polite, but it's like, it won't register what you're saying to me, so there's just no point. I can actually relate to this character though. So we've got Peter, that is your main man.
Yeah. Although you can't maybe relate to the commuting part where he's in the car and stuff, because I know when I've done stuff like that before, and it's kind of it's horrible. Now I've been not in the busiest of situations, but I can imagine, especially in the States and something with those big like freeways and all that stuff, and just behind going on the motorway and all that
Well,
stuff.
I know
and it's
you
just,
actually drove me to my first day at
Yeah.
where I work, and I was late because of you. Because you took the wrong way. You went the other way, which I didn't recommend. And you're like, oh no, this will be quieter.
Yeah.
It won't. And I hate being late, so I was like a minute late. I know it sounds daft, but to me, it's like on my first day, rocking up late, I was like absolutely mortified. But he seems to be able to be late, doesn't he, Peter? That's like 15 minutes. It's like, that would not fly in a normal work environment. How would you get away with that?
No, you wouldn't. You'd be out on your ass.
You really would. So he kind of, bless him, it's just one of those boring, mundane jobs that he does. That everyone has him. Not everyone's as lucky as you, Paul, who does a dream job.
I'd like to throw in something little thing about what I can and remember. It's part of one of the projects we did do. It actually drew up some characters from Office Space and used them in one of the clips we did of one of our animations. So that might be appearing on a reel or something on Instagram and Twitter to help big up this episode.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
When the time it comes out, you'll see that hopefully.
I don't know actually if anybody knows the company Paul works for. It is quite well known in America, at least, isn't it? It's more kind of popular work related, because obviously that's where Paul's boss man is. Yeah. So it's Food Fight Studios, if anybody does ever want to check that out.
Check out our content. We're doing quite well on the old Instagram and TikToks and things now. So yeah, give them a look in. It'd be very much appreciated.
And Paul doesn't hate his job, that is great. So Paul's one of the lucky ones. So I don't know if you can relate to Office Space. You've not really had much of an office role.
No, I've been more in, if anything, it's been more like catering stuff. So I guess more like Jennifer Aniston's characters. I think maybe not to that degree of wearing flair as part of the outline.
That is such an American thing, isn't it? Yeah. I mean, like, who would even bothered about that? Like, why?
No, nobody cares. No, it's just such a insignificant thing.
Yeah, it's just obviously something to pick on. But I don't know if you've ever had it in a workplace where there is one person. So you've got like your manager, your team leader, and to feel like they've got a bit of authority.
Yeah.
They've got to nitpick at something that's like so minute.
Oh yeah.
And obviously, it's like, it doesn't even matter. Does it affect her job performance? Does it affect the fact that she's there on time and she's doing a good job and people are getting the food? Because at the end of the day, that's what a waitress is. It doesn't matter what you look like.
No, because these bosses like classing it as like, are you doing the bare minimum? It's like, well, if she's doing a good job serving people and being friendly and stuff, what does it matter? Or how many badges you have on your jacket, vest, whatever.
This is ridiculous.
Yes, obviously taken to the extreme.
Yeah.
But the director, Mike Judge, is kind of like known for that satirical stuff because he did. I don't know if you've ever seen like Beavis and Butthead, the cartoon.
No.
No. That's what they do, but they're kind of like these stoner kids or whatever.
Like a rip off South Park.
Not as such. I think it was kind of like the MTV generation of animation, adult animation, but it's quite popular and everything. So yeah. But anyway, so yeah, back to the Peter's job. And
so yeah, first
job,
thing,
work life.
Bless him, comes in. He's not even made himself a cuppa or anything or a coffee, and his boss is breathing down his neck. You straight away know then, right? I'm in for it for the rest of the day. Basically, my day started off like this. It's not going to get much better. And the fact that he's got 8 bosses that are then going to go, you did this wrong, you did this wrong. How many times do you have to say, I'm sorry, I'm only human, I've done a genuine mistake, which everybody does, and you're going to breathe it down your neck. So I remember we used to work in the DCC. Compliance.
Yeah, but what, Matt, need to explain what that is?
It's data capture centre. So basically inputting like data
for freight company. For like TNT or what is now FedEx.
Yeah. So like shipments, uploading it, so a parcel's going wherever. You're saying you're inputting from where it's going, who's delivering it to who's going to receive it.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
and let's say you buggered up on a address,
or
or you misspelt it,
something,
or
yeah,
something like that, or you didn't enter something in, and this compliance report would come out every single day, and the person would walk down the office with the piece of paper.
Yeah, and saying, right, there's been you always sigh relief when it's like no compliance this today or whatever. It's like, or from yesterday. It's like, oh, thank goodness. But then obviously it's when it's like, oh, we've had about 3, and then you're thinking, oh, please don't let it be me. I think sometimes we did do like that. Oh yeah, I know we did. You consciously knew you messed up at part, but then sometimes you may have not even really noticed you'd done it and everything. And it's like, oh, like kind of where all they kind of point out, and you feel a bit like, oh shit.
But I think it's one of those naming and shaming principles,
Almost,
which doesn't feel like it works for me, because it's like the whole room knows you've done a mistake, and it's like then you feel embarrassed and ashamed.
Yep.
And it's just like, oh, I just hate it. Luckily, I don't work there anymore, so it's fine. Because you used to just, for any anxiety kind of issue, you'd be like absolutely working yourself up about it, wouldn't you?
Exactly, yeah.
So I'm one that I hate making a mistake at work. Hate it. But now I've had to realise it's good to make a mistake, because otherwise I'm not going to learn. Any failures that you do wrong, you should make mistakes, because if life was perfect, then you don't need to grow, do you?
No.
Simple as. So you're only human. So yeah, bless him, gets breathed down. I've had that plenty of times and thought, yeah. It's so hard as well, because like Paul, bless him, in his work environment upstairs, you can F and Jeff. Nobody cares what you say. Like maybe his neighbours might, but
yeah, or our neighbours.
Nobody really can hear you. Like that would not fly in a work environment. So you do suppress and bottle up
a lot of anger and negativity.
Yeah, and like I used to like go on a lunch, and then like I'd be speaking to my mum, and I'd just be like verbal vomit of the entire morning of what's already just happened to me, because you encounter so many people. And this is kind of what Peter's morning is. Right. He has to go for a coffee to kind of chat about it, to make himself feel a bit better.
Yeah, because everybody's coming like, oh, did you get the memo? I'll send you another copy.
And it's like, I'm not sick. I got the memo. No. I just forgot. You know, it's new policy. It's changed or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm learning the new way, and I missed a step. Like, shoot me. Like, but it does happen. It is so common, and it's some people who think they've got that authority of, oh, did you get the memo? And it's like, yeah, obviously, you're the one who wrote the memo.
Yeah,
you're implementing it, but actually, do you even know what I do?
Very insignificant in the big cogs of the company. But
it's like they think they have this high power, but actually, they know nothing.
Yeah,
like they would be lost without everybody underneath doing all the crappy jobs, where they're sat on the pile of cash.
And then when they go to have their morning coffee at this restaurant, wherever, and then you get those, I hate those like over the top waiters like, hey guys, what can I get you kind of thing, and it's like the guy's like, oh, just shut up. And
I'm pretty sure that's just an American cliche.
Yeah,
I feel like our UK people, because they go on tips in America, don't they?
Yeah, they do. They gotta.
So the nicer they are,
big themselves up. Yeah,
the more money they're gonna get. Whereas, like in the UK, I feel like that's not as much.
I can't really remember. I mean, they weren't like OTT when we went for the meal last week, the birthday meal in Leeds, but
they were nice.
They were nice, but they were
over the top.
Yeah, like
it wasn't false.
Looking your ass or anything. Yeah.
No, no. But definitely nice enough to get a tip. But it's not like a ridiculous amount like in America. Like I could not live there. Like tipping for everything. It's like I'd be broke.
Yeah. It seemed crazy.
Yeah. Like, oh, somebody opened a door for me, tip them.
Yeah.
So also I think as well, what part of me gets to the point of where that shoehorn moment of, oh, Jennifer Aniston's on the screen. You know, when she's like walking out, typical waitress. Oh, it's like, well, I don't know if she was Rachel before this or not.
This was 1999, so I think I want to say she was more established by then.
Yeah, it felt that way.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, typical being a waitress. She was a waitress in Friends. the coffee shop.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I was interested to see if she was in an office job. Because I was like, oh, is she going to be like Pam? Is she going to be a receptionist? And I was reading all these things off, and obviously, and then it's like, oh, she's just a normal waitress.
Yeah.
Which I was a bit disappointed with, actually. And I'd like to have seen her in a bit of a different role.
Yeah. I get that.
I know, like, later on in her career, she's got like horrible bosses and stuff like that, but more a younger, not just a waitress. Not saying a waitress job's bad, but
no,
we've seen that bit already.
Yes.
So obviously Peter is like infatuated with her, even though it seems like he never has her wait on his table. You've always got that cheesy guy.
Yeah.
So I do think that's a bit strange. Like, how can you, unless it's just physical, really like this person? But he's also in a relationship at the moment, isn't he? He's got a girlfriend. Which I think it's a really weird bit, but he's like, why does he even need that part to build his character?
Yeah, I think it's just because he's dragged down by his work, and he's also dragged down by his relationship because he's again, as people, and he points out that he thinks his girlfriend's cheating on him, and they're like, yeah, I can see that. Everybody says that thing because she's obviously one of those kind of people.
That's just like a red flag. Like, why have you even let him be with her this long then, if that's what you think? Like, they can't be true friends, can they?
No.
Like, somebody should say something to him.
No. But he goes to this hypnotherapist person, I think, from part of her.
I think that's the only reason why we've got her in here, for this bit to happen.
Yeah.
That's like the only
because after the fact, they kind of break up because he has this zen moment after the hypnotherapist like has a heart attack, and they obviously can't break the spell, so he's kind of just under this like enlightenment that he has of like I don't care about coming into the office over the weekend and all that stuff, and it's like you just forget it all. I just want to just relax.
I would love that,
yeah,
to not worry so much about work.
Mm-hmm.
And kind of be like, it's fine, and be so relaxed about it, like it'll be what it'll be right, kind of thing. And it's just trying to get that mindset, because I think a lot of people find the pressure of work and the daily grind, and it's hard to be just so laxy-daisy with it, because like at the end of the day, that's what's paying your mortgage, it's paying your bills and everything, isn't it? You need to rely on it.
Yeah.
But wouldn't you just want that attitude of like, oh, your boss wants you to work on the weekend, instead of like jumping through hoops for this person because they're higher up in the ranks?
Yeah.
You're like, no, don't really want to. What are you going to do about it?
No, I know. It does seem kind of odd that there's no real repercussion from that, though, is there? After skiving off the weekend,
They can't fire him. They asked him to, and he didn't actually say yes.
Yeah, it's kind of like just take it for how it is, and for that. Yeah, if you could come in, that'd be great. That's the whole
but
boring,
he won't be in.
droll character.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is kind of odd because he was calling him as if like he must have been in. So I don't know how else would he have known otherwise.
I don't think he would. It'd be one of those bosses that's like, oh, can you come in and do all the work, and then I'll take the glory for it.
Yeah.
So I do love this idea of, if you had £1 million, dollars, what would you do with it?
You wouldn't do two chicks at the same time.
No, that would not be my well, to be fair, I'm pretty sure you could do that without having $1 million.
That's true. You could do it for a lot less, to be fair. But anyway.
If you could, if you really wanted that.
Yeah. Go on, so what would you?
It's hard, because I don't think it would be anything career driven. Like, people were like, oh, I'll do this and that. And it's like, I wouldn't mind having a little cafe or a little shop. But then it's more of a, would I want to travel a little bit, see, or just literally squirrel it away and kind of have a really good saving. And then if there was something that I wanted to do, I'd love to learn to drive, but I still feel like I'd have a lot of money left.
Yeah, you'd have enough to get you through that real quick.
Get a brilliant car, like a space rocket or something. But what about you? What would you do with $1 million? Like, buy the entire Pokemon Center, if you... Well, I don't know, there's probably more than $1 million, isn't it?
No, I'd probably do something like, on similar to the thing of having like some sort of shop where it could just be even just to do like screenings for people and stuff, like a little cinema thing or something like that.
My God, I could cook for them.
Yeah.
I mean, like, every man.
Yeah, something like along those lines. Yeah. Just a little independent
Oh, that sounds amazing. I want that now.
That'd be cool.
SP Films.
Yeah. Picture house or something.
Yeah. Oh, Paul. Yours is well better than mine. I thought you were really going to relate it to Pokemon, like have a shiny Charizard.
What,
Really
make
rare.
it real?
Yeah, yeah, if you could.
Yeah.
So I do like Peter's answer though as well. I do nothing. Don't you just love a weekend where you've had such busy lifestyle, and you have a weekend where you have nothing planned, and you just wake up, you do whatever you want, whenever you want.
Yeah, take it as it comes. Yeah.
They're the best weekends.
Yeah, they generally are. They seem to go on for a lot longer because I feel like you're having to rush around and be scheduled in for meeting up with people and those kind of things. Yeah.
Yeah. Whereas normally, if you've got loads of plans, your weekend just flies by, and you're like, "Did I even have a weekend?"
Yeah.
I know what it means. I've been in that place where you've been in work where you're not generally happy, and I think everyone has.
Yeah, I know I have had in certain jobs, and it's just I dreaded going in like the Monday and stuff. Having a case of the Mondays kind of thing. We all have those, I'm sure. But...
Yeah, but pretty sure that sometimes Mondays were like, then Tuesdays were a problem, and then Wednesdays because you just absolutely hate your job. So then he's kind of got this unfound confidence that's come over him. He seems to be able to tackle things that his prior self couldn't, because I think he must have built it up a little bit in his head, and he actually gets the oomph to go over to see Rachel or Joanna, if you want to call her that,
yeah,
or Jennifer Aniston.
Yeah, it's called whatever, interchangeable.
And he basically asks her out, and he's been probably eyeing her up for a while now.
Yeah.
And it seems to work quite well because he seems like chilled back, confident.
Yeah, it just says come next door and I'll be waiting. Well, not waiting for you, but like if you want to join me, then please come out. And so it's kind of like, oh, okay, that kind of approach seemed to have worked. And
yeah, instead of please will you being like desperately trying to go out with me, it's like it's up to you. If you want to come see me, you can. If you don't,
that's cool.
Fair enough.
Yeah,
it's not a problem. And I think that does seem to be more appealing to a woman.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of how this little rom-com thing kind of creates out, but it's not very much fully part of your story, is it?
It's more like a sideline thing, really, which is good because you are focusing on how the Peter and his friends Michael Bolton and Samir are, like in it together type of thing in the office. That collectively they agree it all sucks and everything, and things aren't working. Like the photocopy is not doing what it's supposed to do. And again, if you worked in an office, you know how frustrating that is. And it's like load the paper and all that.
It's more frustrating when you know how to fix it, and then somebody goes, "Sophie, the printer's not working," and you're like, "Yeah, I learned how to make it work to make my life easy, not everybody else's."
Yeah. Those things. They just never work.
They are a nightmare. I don't blame them. Yeah. So he kind of comes to this establishment that he doesn't want to pay his bills anymore. He doesn't want to go to work. And it's like, if every adult could think that way.
Yeah. But it's like Michael says before, like, the whole $1 million thing, if everybody would like, I want to be like actors or whatever, do all the good jobs. No one would want to be a janitor or anything like that, would they? There'd be no call for those things, so that the whole question is stupid because
that's true.
No one wants to work for anything these days, do they?
It's like nowadays, though. Everybody wants to be a famous YouTuber,
TikTok celebrity, whatever you want to.
I didn't even know that was a thing. I feel so old. Like I didn't even know that this was a thing. But that's what they want to do nowadays. It's not like a normal job. And
yeah, what minimal effort to
unless we're going to get robots in to do as jobs for us. I don't really know how.
And then we'll have the robot uprising. So it never works out.
So you've got quite a few other characters within the office. Mm-hmm. Oh, there's one, and I feel for him.
Is Milton?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like he's the age that he's at. I feel like he should be a lot further progressed or on with where he should be in life, and I feel like he's lets a lot of people walk all over him.
Yeah, he's very much a caricature of a person anyway, isn't he? Really, with those big like deep glasses, and he's like mumbly, stuttery
I just
way
feel like
about.
somebody should be there to help him. Like, if that was me, I'd have to take him under my wing, even though he's older than me.
Uh-huh.
And be like, leave him alone. He doesn't deserve this crap, you know. Like, I feel like the boss as well is just doing it just maliciously. It's not even to drive any purpose or make him work better by moving him. He's just doing it because it knows it upsets him, and it's fun for him to be a puppeteer and do that. And it's like, oh, that's just he plays such a good role because I absolutely despise him.
Yeah, you meant to, yeah.
And you really don't like him.
And you feel sorry for Milton, but I think that's really what they're going for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But bless him, to put him in the basement bit in the end, for him to kill the cockroaches, you know, it's like taking his stapler. It's like, just leave him alone. He's happy. He's one of those employees that if you left him where he is, he'll do an alright job, and that's it.
Yeah.
And he goes home.
But yeah, obviously that's the build up throughout the film, isn't it? You kind of get between yourself, you can push him, which again people can do because it's like, oh,
they do crack.
What, this is the last straw or whatever. That's the thing, and he kind of mumbles throughout the film like, oh, I'm gonna burn this place down or whatever.
I love that. I'm not gonna lie. Like, work has got you to a place where they are pushing your buttons. You can think these cynical thoughts, can't you? Like,
like, oh, just go shoot up the place and stuff. But it depends how beaten down you are in your job, and it's like, but it can be dangerous, especially in an environment that's not very helpful in terms of
a bit hostile towards you and makes you feel unwelcome.
Yeah,
it can make you have those thoughts of like, either I need to leave or they're pushing me so far that I'm gonna pop.
Yeah,
because you don't have that where you can just go like Jennifer Aniston to her job and flip them off.
Yeah.
You know, you can't really do that, really.
Not in the real world now.
No, unless you want to lose your job.
Yeah, exactly.
Like that, like literally, there's so many times when people have come to me and you, in your head, you're like, "Can you just piss off?" Like you do.
Yeah, you just want to throttle them.
Yeah. Or like, can you stop talking? Like, I'm trying to bloody concentrate, and
I don't know how you concentrate, to be honest. When I come down to the kitchen or whatever, and I can hear these ding, ding going off all the time. I wouldn't be able to just shut up. So I just mute all the things, so at least I'm not hearing that ping going off every 2 seconds.
No, I think I've actually just muted it in my head. Like, I don't even hear it goes off.
No. Yeah.
But that at work, so like, I know there's certain people that will talk to you like constantly, and they won't shush, and it's like, how do you concentrate? And that's the other thing, going back into the office.
Yeah. It's
like, when you're at home, I've noticed there's so many better beneficial things, like you put the radio on, you're singing, and you're like, can't do that if you're at work. Well, maybe you could be peeing off a lot of people, wouldn't you? It's like the radio with, is it Milton?
Yeah. Beginning, it's like,
only allowed it from 9 till 11, and then they want him to turn it down, and it's like, just a bit mean, isn't it?
Yeah, putting him down and doing stuff like that, and it's like,
that might make him happy.
You could put headphones in, to be fair, because he does mention someone else listens to music, and with the headphones, so it's like, you could do the same thing, but
maybe he wants it more. Don't know. Everyone to enjoy it with him. Mm-hmm. I do feel for him, I really do.
But then you kind of see, obviously, when Peter's coming into the office and everything, he's kind of just like, almost like I said, taking the piss in the comical way of, playing Tetris on the computer instead of actually doing his work, and, he's gone fishing, and then he comes in the fish and just starts cutting it up on the thing and just...
I'd love to do something like that at work. Like, there's never a dull moment where you can not just not be busy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the thought of being able to play Tetris at my desk and get paid for it sounds amazing. But I don't think you could get away with actually, when you have work to do, who's doing his job for him? Like, or is his role that obsolete that nobody's noticing the work's not getting done?
Exactly. So the main two other overarching stories throughout the film is like the corporate, or whatever you want to call it, is kind of coming in to assess like how people are doing their jobs, and like cutting people back and stuff, all that kind of thing. So
minimising is always the worst. Downsizing, they call it, to make it sound like they're minimising and strengthening their staff and resources that they've got, but actually it's the company's going down the pan, isn't it?
Yeah, and obviously lining the pockets of the upper management and stuff more.
But this is the thing, straight away I was like, well, you've got 8 management. Do you need
Yeah.
8 people managing?
Yeah.
If you got rid of at least 4 of them, you could keep.
The little people, yeah.
Yeah, whose wages aren't going to be as sky high as the management that are just literally doing jack all.
Exactly. And so, and from this, it kind of like, there's talk of this, we could just plant a coding virus in the system and, get a little bit of money back from the thing that's so insignificant, nobody would even know it, kind of thing. So that after the fact, they kind of, Samir and Michael kind of learn that they're going to be out on their ass, and Peter's kind of like up for a raise apparently, but he could be a total dick and be like, yeah, I'll just leave him on the kick him to the curb and everything.
He can tell the true friends because he doesn't have to.
He's kind of like he's kind of like, I can't believe this has actually happened. I've come in and said all this stuff in my casuals and said like, oh, I'm coming late and all this stuff, but they're like, oh well, you've hit the nail on the head about the productivity thing, so we're gonna bump you up and everything. And so it's kind of like, I can't believe this was so easy to get to win him over, but I'm still gonna help you because it's not right what they're doing. So
since they've been busting their guts to kind
being
of
software engineers, and all that, it's not right. I get the frustration there.
I do love a line that Peter says, humans don't have enough time on the earth and they shouldn't be just sat behind little computers. Because you do get to a point of where you're like, I've literally not been outside, I've just been sat in front of this screen entering information for a company, and it's like kind of the meaning behind it all, apart from the fact that it pays your bills. It's kind of trying to find that purpose behind it, isn't it? And I think that's where Peter is not happy with his life, because he doesn't even have anyone to share it with fully.
No, he's obviously looking for setting his sights on Jennifer Aniston, which kind of works out for him. So he said he'd like to be happy within in a job, but he'd just be happy just to have her in his life, which is fine. A good way of looking about it. If at the very bare minimum of having a relationship that's solid, then you can cope with. You come home to your wife and kids and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and that helps with the day job, because the daily grind, you have a reason why you're doing it.
Exactly.
You're coming home to your family or your wife or your girlfriend or whoever, and you're doing it for them and your life with them.
Yeah.
And I think that's what many people do with the jobs that we have to do. So they end up hacking company money, like you said. It is really scary how easily they're able to.
Yeah, they even point out, it's like, oh, that was really easy. And doing it on a floppy disk of all things as well. It seems so alien, really, in a way where it's like, what is this? The amount of space that is actually on that thing.
There's not a lot, so it must have not been a big hacking job.
Yeah. Now it would be a USB if it was more modern or something. Terabyte hard drive or something with a big, massive thing. I don't know.
It would need to be now, because obviously the computers they were using back then, I don't think they had many firewalls and safety measurements in place. Like now, it would take a lot longer to hack. Yeah,
jumping back to the initial thing where where he's about to leave trying to get away for the weekend, and they said, I think you can relate to the whole saving down the spreadsheet thing, what he was doing at the beginning to get away. It's like, oh, come on.
Save. It just takes so long when you've got a big file, like in Excel or something, for it to save. You can be like waiting like 10 minutes for a file to save, because it's got so many things within that file.
Yeah. The only way I can relate to that is if we're waiting. Sometimes for me, I don't know if it's just because of the internet here, it's going to be sketchy sometimes, but when it's trying to load up files, not even necessarily big files, but just loading a page on Dropbox to access a folder, it can sometimes be really take longer than it needs to. And it's like, that's a part of frustration, especially when it's like you're trying to get to end of the day or whatever, and it's like, right, I need to upload this so everybody can access this, and it's like, come on type of thing. It's really annoying. I don't know why that is, but it's just one of those things.
It's frustrating, isn't it?
Yeah.
But it is what it is. It's like them archaic systems, like every place has them, where you're logging onto a system and it's like, why does this look like it should be in the 80s or something ridiculous? Like, we're in the modern age now, it should be updated, and it's just archaic. So they kind of come together. Nobody needs to know about the kind of hacking job. They don't want to kind of tell girlfriends, but straight away Peter tells Jennifer Aniston.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, almost. Yeah.
And it's like, why? You've just said you've made a pact that you're not going to tell anyone because you don't want to go to prison. And I love how she's like, so you're stealing then? Pretty much.
Yeah.
It's like, no, you're not getting it. This is money like with pence, like,
yeah.
So we're rounding it down. They're not even going to notice it. And it's like, yeah, but it's still money that's not yours. Like, the principle is not right.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's one of those things where it's like, well, do you think it's actually worth your job? You have to weigh up those options. Like, you get paid monthly.
Mm-hmm.
And if you get hacking something,
is it worth?
Is it worth that risk of that daily income, monthly or weekly income that you get, to then kind of lose your job and never get a job again, possibly?
Mm-hmm. I think that's that whole reason why they have that sort of like, what she's saying is it's stealing and all that stuff is sort of like a build up, like a pre-argument to the main thing of where they have the falling out really because of what he thinks she slept with his boss. It's like, no, we got it wrong, but I guess that's the part of the joke, isn't it? Because like, and then he's having like nightmares about that occurring and stuff like that. Just because this other guy's put that in, is a bit of a douche character. I can't remember what his name is, but this bleached blonde haired guy, and he's like, oh, all about the sex type.
Oh, that ooga.
Yeah, oh face or whatever. Yeah.
Made me cringe. I didn't like that character at all.
Yeah.
Tried to block him out.
Mm-hmm.
But I think as well, it's if you really despise somebody, the thought of then somebody who you growing to care for, sleeping with them, like that must be like the worst thing ever.
Yeah.
It's like me sleeping with Superman. How would you feel about that?
Please don't let that happen. He's got Lois Lane anyway, so he's all right.
What do you mean?
Well, all I know is that he in one of the films, I really kind of know this from just circling on the internet or whatever, but he loved her so much that he had to rotate the Earth round to go back in time or some bollocks. So he's
a true romantic.
It's like, loads of people die. Why don't you just save them from dying? Why is just because it's someone I doesn't care about? Selfish is what he is.
Don't get Paul started on Superman. So we've got another character called Tom.
Yep. And
Tom is another one that kind of doesn't really know what his job is.
He's worried about being, let go in anyway. He's one of these paranoid people who thinks like his job's on the line all the time.
But to be fair, when corporate come in or the big wigs come in, you're like, they never come in. Shit's hitting the fan. Yeah. What's going on?
Yeah.
It's horrible, isn't it? Because you're like, when they've got this big meeting and they're like, shh. And they're chuntering about it and the office is escalating all these rumours and it just spreads like wildfire.
Yep.
Fire. Spreads like wildfire. And it's just one of those, we've had it, haven't we, when we were both working at the same place, actually.
Yeah.
And they were downsizing.
The DCC, yeah.
And the work was going to Mauritius or something like that. It was exporting out because obviously it was cheaper.
Yeah.
And we were like, what do we do now? And we were only temps at that point. It was quite an early stage of our careers, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And it's just, it makes the office space quite tense.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard, isn't it? Like, that environment is not pleasant. So Tom, bless him, he's always panicking about being made redundant or kind of job loss. But I think that's because he doesn't really know what his job is.
Yeah, he's in the meeting and he's kind of explain what it is, and it's like, well, hang on a minute, what part do you play in this whole scenario? Yeah.
Yeah, he's not really got a main role, and somebody else could be doing his role quite easily. Like, from a continuous improvement position, you wouldn't really need that role to exist.
Mm-hmm.
And he gets to a point of where he knows he's kind of messed up the interview.
Yeah.
So he's getting himself all worked up. So he's wanting to commit suicide by kind of being in your car. Is it? What?
Yeah, fumigating yourself essentially. Yeah, the tailpipe and a thing through the window to smoke. Yeah, the exhaust fumes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But his wife kind of, I don't know why she hadn't questioned him more. Like, are you okay? What are you doing? And then,
Yeah, it's a bit like...
if I saw you in the garage trying to kind of commit harry-carry, I won't be a little bit like, oh, okay, darling, see you later, you're off to work.
Yeah.
Like, no, what are you doing? Why the hell are you doing this?
But then he gets... I mean, you can tell just the way the camera angle's doing it there, because like, oh, he's reversing now. It's taken a long time to show that, and it's like the way that the camera is positioned. Something's going to occur, and it does, because there's a car that comes ramming into him.
Yeah, it's quite predictable, isn't it? Yeah. But luckily he survives.
Yeah.
Which I thought he was going to die, to be fair. Like, ironically, like, oh, I want to live now. And it's like, too late. Yeah. You wanted to commit suicide, so you're going to die. But, yeah, he was quite bandaged up.
Well, yeah, literally, again, like a caricature cartoon.
Reminded me of Mean Girls, when she's, like, on that bit there. All exactly. Kind of potted up.
Yeah.
So obviously he wanted to throw barbecue, and he's kind of like now going to be rich and loaded because of the fact that he's had an accident and the insurance claim.
Yeah.
So he's kind of done well for himself. And then there's 3 main men are like now kind of bricking themselves because the decimal point
or something in the coding or whatever has gone awry. So now they've got a lot more than they expected.
Decimal points are really, really hard. It does mess you up, like.
No,
you've seen so many zeros. Like, I remember when we went to Japan, I have to bung that in there, don't I?
Yep.
The amount of zeros.
Yeah, but it's a case of just move the decimal
near enough
point over, really, and that's equivalent to what it is.
Well, although I think it's a bit more, a bit less actually. For so us, you benefit.
We in UK to UK sterling, whereas it's like 3,500 yen would be $35. You just move the decimal point, but it'd be conversion rates anyway. It would be a bit less for us anyway. So
so it'd be like maybe £30.
So, but if you go with the logic of it's dollars, and then you're always going to be surprised. Oh, it's costing less than I think.
Yeah.
For us,
so you benefiting in a sense. Yeah. But it is the decimal points, because I know where I'm working at the moment, we have a Dutch kind of client as well, and their decimal points. So it's really strange. They have like how we would have decimal points and then we'd have a full stop after it's like pence.
Mm-hmm.
They have a full stop where their comma should be.
Yes.
And a comma where their full stop should be.
Oh, okay. That's weird.
So it looks like a hell of a lot more money coming in than, sometimes it's just a comma.
Right. So
you're like, oh, well, am I bunging 2 zeros on the end here? Or is that going to make it even more?
Okay. Odd.
Yeah.
Yeah. But so the coding thing goes wrong and they're like panicking, like you say. So now they're like, oh, what do we do? And it's like, well, I guess we have to really confess and write an apology note or whatever. Here's some checks or whatever with the money that's...
Like, they think that's going to go down well. Still going to go to prison.
Yeah.
Just because you've apologised for it and fessed up. But you'll get off a little bit lighter, but still did the deed.
Yes, but Peter especially seems like quite accepting of the fact that he's going away or whatever. So it's like a humbling way of looking at it, but it's not like he's not trying to just make and break for it or anything like that, which you could do. But
I thought that's what he was doing. No, kind of like confessing anonymously.
Oh yeah, no, we're not anonymously.
Or confessing, but then running away.
No, I think he's just putting up a...
Saying it was just all on him, really. Instead
I
think he was kind of letting his friends off, wasn't he? Because they did kind of really blame him.
Yeah.
Because it was his idea. But it's like, well, yeah, but you actually had all the software up and running already. So you obviously had this thought to have the software and hack to encrypt on the computer. So it's like, how is it all Peter's fault? He's just encouraged it.
Yeah.
At the end of the day. So don't really think he's all to blame, to be honest.
No. But it doesn't matter anyway because Milton decides to burn the place down anyway. So
I love it. I really do. I think it's such a brilliant way to kind of end it.
Yeah.
It just made me laugh because it's like there's so many people that would love
to do that. Yeah.
Like in the work situation, like you would. Or there's been times where you just want to fling your computer out of the window.
Or smash up a printer like they do it as part of the little montage, which again I'll say about the soundtrack is quite very urban, should we say?
They've got such lots of urban kind of intakes, haven't they, out there?
Which I like, yeah. It's good.
It works really well. Like the first opening scene that we've got of Michael Bolton.
Yeah, he's like in the car rocking to a thing. It's good. Yeah, it's like a obviously white guy listening to rap music. It's obviously a funny aspect, which is kind of ironic.
But then when the guy comes past as well.
Yeah, it's like, turn the volume down. yeah, exactly, yeah. Saying the N-word, whoever is like...
But it is ironic compared with you, really.
Yeah, because I've grown up in my, teen years listening to rap music. I still do. I still enjoy it, so it's always with me now.
It is. You're really eclectic, actually, Paul. You're quite open-minded. Like, you got kind of a rocky kind of...
Yeah, I have a rock stage, rap stage, and then...
Classic and pop and
all sorts now, yeah.
Very eclectic.
Yeah.
So, yeah, brilliant way to end with a building being burnt. I want to know, did Lundberg survive? I was like, oh, is he burning in there? You don't actually get to see him being out there.
No, you just see most of the other people in the office just standing bystanders, but yeah, they don't really see what happens to him. I don't know if that's up to interpretation or anything, but I think you just assume that he's fine and they've just moved. Everyone's just moved on with everything, really.
Shame.
Yeah. So and then Peter gets doing manual labour. He's cleaning up the debris of the fire anyway, but he's found a new lease on life, really. So he's a lot more happier doing the outdoorsy stuff, which is. It's a good career change for him. And,
it is. It's not cooped up in an office space, which people think it's glamorous sometimes, like if you kind of having a manual job, but sat at a desk all day can actually be quite draining.
Mm-hmm.
Like being a gardener or something like that, or a driver.
Mm-hmm.
You're out and about, you've got a little bit more freedom, you don't have to be kind of relying on anybody else within the workspace or sat next to somebody for too long a period of time.
Move around. From over there to over there. Yeah.
But obviously the other two guys, Michael and Samir, get to a point of where they do get another job pretty much within
another corporate building, but but you assume that they're kind of a bit happier there, or they're kind of just accepting of what they do. This is their life, and they don't want to veer too far off the path or anything. They're kind of just settling for things, so it's like.
Yeah, and that's fine, really, it is, if it's but that's what makes you...
But if they're a little bit happier, and maybe it's a better office environment for them. Yeah, so that's good. And then the closing thing is...
Oh, I love the ending.
Milton's taken, I guess, the money that was on the floor. You didn't see him pick him up, but that's what the intention is, that he found this envelope with the check, the money, whatever, and took it upon himself to, run away and go on holiday or whatever.
I don't blame him. He deserves it, actually.
Definitely,
he's the one that's had the most crap within that office.
Yeah, he didn't get any cake.
No, they just really overlooked him. He was like one of those kind of nobodies.
Yeah, just moved around and everything. Yeah, just all the boxes piled around him and everything.
Yeah. And then he wasn't even getting a wage at the end of it.
Yeah,
because he was working for nothing. I think he would sacked him and I hadn't even told him.
Yeah, which is like, how does that work? Yeah.
No, it's like, I'm working for free here. It's like... Not fair on him. So he got his upcomings and was able to kind of get his reward of having all that crap thrown at him, really.
Yeah. So I feel like he might have related to this quite a bit in terms of working in an office and having that environment on almost a daily as such.
I've had it where you do want to burn the building down. You have had those days that you would definitely be like, let's do this. Yeah. And there's been certain people that can just grate on you, and you have to just tolerate them, and it isn't easy. And also then when you're downsizing, and there's all that, oh, it's going to be me, and oh, it's not going to be you, is it? And because you do this, and that, and it's like comparing, and it's just, would I advise somebody to work in an office? Yes and no. It's like, yeah, it's brilliant because you do get some really good friends.
Yeah.
But no, because it can be soul destroying.
Yeah.
It can be. It depends on if you really like the job you're doing.
Yeah, that's true.
But loved the way that this ended, in a sense of that people who do get a bit shat on
Yeah.
in the end can be like up yours, really.
Yeah, get what they deserve in the right sense,
Yeah.
as opposed to the other way around. Yeah. Did you find it funny at all, or in parts?
There's some parts where it's like, oh, this is borderline in my not humour stage for me.
Example?
I think it's more like, I know you liked the computer kind of printer bashing up. That was fine. It was but then it went on where he started trying to punch it instead of like just using the bat, and it's like, okay, right, we've gone to one level of, this is a cool scene where they're trying to hit the printer, and now it's like, and then taking him away from it, it's like, I'd have been happy with just the bat and it kind of ending there.
Okay, but that's...
So I feel like they did try to push it a little bit.
But I think that's really showing he's so frustrated with.
You can really relate to that, can't you?
Yeah, sometimes, I do want to. If I had the means of just sometimes throwing the computer out the window,
don't.
But then you could like rewind time where you had a new one already, just to be like, yeah, right, that's the venting frustration of that, and I never would do that.
Literally,
because I knew it instant regret.
Every day there would be a computer for you flung out of the window if that was the case.
It's not. Every day's not that bad, but there are times when things are going really slow or things aren't doing what I...
You're not very patient though.
No.
You could not handle, like, I'm sat there sometimes and I'm like, oh, it won't save.
Yeah.
Like, just sat there like, I can't do anything.
Yeah, no.
And your patience level would be like,
no. It's really annoying. But any other examples, or is it just some stuff like that, really?
More stuff like that, and I think I did get quite upset as well with how Milton was Tret. That, unless you know kind of how how it ends, it does kind of grate on me a little bit, like how he's being pushed around as well.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't deserve that.
Okay.
Also, the actual boss character.
Yeah.
I hate him.
Again, these are all things that kind of work to the story and beats. Like, you're supposed to hate him. You feel like Milton is going to get his comeuppance somehow and everything, so
Not too bad, it's just certain parts where you're like, like Jennifer Aniston flipping the workplace off, that's like, I would really value that, but then I think it goes over the board when she has to do it to the customers. It's like, no, it's just fine to do it to you, boss. Poor innocent customers just having a burger is like...
it doesn't really linger on that too much, does it? You could be like, again, over the top, like just going around the room, going it
kind of merged a little bit too much, but not like extreme.
Yeah.
Okay. So I could tolerate the humour.
Okay, do we have a score?
I can't really say I loved it, but I can't really pinpoint what I didn't love.
Yeah.
I can definitely relate to it.
Yeah.
From a working office environment, and I can understand why you would hate work. And if you could just not work, then
yeah.
Like, I think everybody would do that.
Yes.
But then the economy would crash. So it's a difficult one. I feel like Jennifer Aniston, she's like the best actress in this. Like, Peter, I don't really think he's that strong. He's very good at being laxy-daisy and stuff, but his acting can be a little bit ropey. It's not like knockout acting.
But does it work in a comedic tone of acting, really? Because that's
it's not as bad as Trolls, if that's what you're asking me.
Troll 2,
yeah. So we're okay on that front, but it's not like your brilliant acting that you've seen in certain other films.
It's blown me away.
Yeah. It's just kind of one of those films where it's like, you kind of put it on and you could be doing something else in the background.
Yeah, I kind of get what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah, if that's bad, like, you're not like transfixed to know. No, I'm gonna miss something if I look at my phone. Like, you could be doing anything else really, like, while it's on, and it not being really detrimental.
This is it. You could just do something else where you've got this on. Yeah,
I think so. It's like, it's not one that grips me completely.
No.
And I think it's holding your attention span. It kind of, there's really good parts where it does, but there's other parts where it's like a bit lackluster. So I think my scoring, so sorry because everybody has voted for this, and I'm like,
right.
Like, it's all right. It's I don't hate it, but I don't love it.
Okay.
I'd say it's in the middle somewhere.
Okay.
I think I'm being generous if I gave it a 7. I think it's probably more like a 6.
Okay. No, I'm kind of on the same vibes revisiting that really. Maybe go 6.5, just because enjoyed like the white guy, he's listening to rap music, so is just the thing. But I get what you mean, because about the way that there's parts where it's kind of enjoyable, more so at the beginning, because it's kind of like this setup that seems like it's gonna be really solid and strong, and but it kind of like it almost feels like it does peter out a little bit near the end, and it's kind of like the enjoyment gets sucked away a little bit somehow, or like certainly laughing a lot more at the beginning.
Yeah.
At things, but
the
then
beat just seems to hit better, doesn't it, at
yeah,
the start?
but then it kind of like dwindles, and it's like yeah, it's satisfying ending though, of course. But I think it is definitely one of those easygoing watches, really, and it's just overall just an enjoyable watch, really, and it's very popular because most people can relate.
Everyone can relate, because
Yeah.
obviously everyone normally is in a working environment. But for Peter as well, it's like you don't know if he ever comes out of that like hallucination or kind of transfixation of like.
Yeah, it's kind of like a vague like transition. Is like you just assume it's worn off type of thing. It's not really very made clear as for that occurrence. You just assume like for most of it he is, and then there must be a point where it's not really specified. Like he's like shakes head, what's happened? What have I done? Type of thing or anything like that. But it's kind of like it's just faded away, just like the way the story does. Yeah.
I didn't say that, you did.
No.
But thank you so much for voting and being part of selecting this movie. I think that kind of makes me want to score it a little bit higher, just for the fact that people have wanted us to review it. And I hope that when you do listen to this, you enjoy what we've had to say.
Yeah.
And maybe if you don't agree with us, that'd be interesting to see a different perspective.
Yeah, definitely get in touch if you feel like we've missed something or got something to add, of course. As always, you can reach out to us on Twitter and Instagram under the handle SP_filmviewers. And of course, please go and listen to all our other episodes on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Podbean, and wherever else you might get your podcasts from. And if you'd like to make a donation to our Buy Me a Coffee page, that would be also greatly appreciated. Or just to simply leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or Podchaser as well, that'd be just as appreciated, of course.
Also, just a big thank you for Paul's birthday request. So we did ask on Twitter and Instagram for some more followers. I think you were a bit ambitious on Instagram for the request, but on Twitter it seemed really, really positive, didn't it?
Yes, a big thank you to everybody on Twitter for helping us get to where we are on there.
Definitely granted your birthday wish.
And thank you for your continuing support on interacting and sharing, retweeting, liking, all that stuff. It's really very much appreciated. Can't thank you enough. And for all you new listeners, I hope you're enjoying what you've heard so far. I hope you enjoy what's to come. And of course, feel free to listen back to all our previous episodes in the old archive.
There's quite a lot now.
Yeah, we're getting close, on the very cusp of getting to 100. So, yeah, it'll be a good time for everybody to listen to past stuff if you haven't already, and look forward to what we've got coming up towards the end of the year.
Can't believe we're already saying end of the year.
No, yeah. It's getting closer and closer, yeah.
Christmas will be soon.
Mm-hmm.
Well, or Halloween will be.
Yeah. So, thank you very much for listening, and we will speak to you next time.
Speak to you next time.
Bye.
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 Bye.